Hey guys, welcome to the Powerful Man Show, where we help married businessmen save their marriages without having to talk about it, get unstuck, and gain clarity in their lives. As I like to say, life is too short for average. I'm your host, Doug Holt. Now let's get this started. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. And I am joined by no other than Jake. Jake, great to have you here, brother.
The one and only. Glad to be here, Doug. It's always fun to connect on a podcast with you. How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. I'm excited to get to talk to you. Every time that we do a podcast together or that you're on here, it always gets great reviews. For guys that aren't familiar, Jake is one of our advisors. And not only that, but Jake has been through the program. Jake, you're married, you got kids, you're a businessman. So you check all the boxes of the guys that are listening to this. And that's why I think when you're on the show, guys get so much out of it.
Yeah, you bet. No, it's good. It's always good to get on a riff with you, Doug. I love having these conversations. I love talking about this stuff, big ideas, man. I mean, I used to be a big sports guy and talk about that all the time. But what I realize is like, there's more, there's just deep stuff that we can talk about. And outside of an arena like this, the container that we have inside the Powerful Man, this stuff doesn't get talked about. So love connecting with you, with other guys that I talk to, man. It's such a joy for me to be able to connect in that way and just go deep on some things. Love it. Absolutely.
Well, I do too. And, it's interesting when we talk about going deep and connecting, here we are at the beginning of the holidays, right? Coming up. So a lot of guys are going to be listening to this. It'll be the beginning of December for most men. And, regardless of your religious orientation, the holidays are upon us. And a lot of times the holidays can cause a lot of problems for guys, Jake.
Yeah. Yeah, you bet. It's been coming up a lot for us. There's a lot. I mean, even just Thanksgiving just passed and heard some pretty tough stuff. Pretty tough stuff over the last several days of guys I personally know and guys I've talked to. You've got the big thing that I like to share with guys this time of year is like, remember, like these things are going to get remembered, right? Once you go through them, and it's like, you're either going to show up in a really, really great way, connect with your family, with your kids, or you're not, and that's a choice that we get to make. And so look, for the rest of, the next, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years, like these are going to be memories that you're going to have: holidays, birthdays, vacations, they get remembered. So you get to just decide how you want to show up. I think it's important to talk about.
Yeah, no, I think it is too. And, it was just yesterday, my wife and I were walking around our house and we were looking at, we have tons of pictures, like 50 pictures on our walls, and they're memories. And not only do you see the smiles, but you also know if they're genuine smiles or not, right? You can tell what was going on in our marriage when that picture was taken. And I think a lot of guys forget that if they're in a tough place in their marriage or their business or anything else, those memories are going to come flooding back when they look at the pictures.
Yeah, that's funny. We have a free Facebook group. If you're listening to the podcast right now, go check it out. It's super good. Lots of cool guys to connect with in there. Always just dumping massive value into everybody there because we want to help as many people as we can. And the free Facebook group is a great way to do that. But I just dropped a little training in there today about my wife, turning my wife from love her to death, and she can probably hear me right now. Turning her from this, she was being kind of a Grinch, right, into this, sexy, playful, feminine elf just the other day because what's going on right now. I don't know if your wife is the same way. I know mine certainly gets this way when we've got Friendsgiving coming up tomorrow, Saturday this week. And we're inviting a bunch of people in. She's cleaning. She's a superhero when it comes to this stuff, not like me, but she's in it, man. She wants to make the house really, really nice and inviting and just really, really perfect for everybody coming over. And I love that about her. And I love that, she does that for us. But me, I'm kind of trying to hide out. I had volleyball on Tuesday night. I maybe stayed extra for some extra games afterwards, play some pickup. And I could just tell that she was really in this. I knew it was going to happen. She often does this when we go on vacation or have holidays. She gets kind of stressed, kind of overwhelmed. And we've got 3 kids and it's totally reasonable. But I know that in these moments, like I've got to show up. I've got to step up for her, not just to clean the bathrooms, but to show up for her emotionally. All right. And that's at a deeper level so that this memory for her isn't one where she was stressed for the, 3, 4, 5 days leading up to it. She was stressed all day cooking on the day of the event. And then it goes by and like, I had a great time. I'll always have a great time, but I don't want that for her. I want her and the kids, everybody just really connect through these times.
Well, that's the important thing, man. And that's the difference between, being a deer and a wolf, as we talked about in The Powerful Man. So guys, if you're new to the show, DEAR is an acronym that we use for defend, excuse, explain, react, right? It's what a lot of us guys do, and especially during the holidays, our wife or our partner might be, stressed out and anxious about in-laws coming over, friends, whatever it may be, and she might say something to you. And if you react and you snap and you start explaining and defending your actions, right,
Yeah.
you're just going to go down this rabbit hole of pain and causing more and more fights between you guys, which is going to cause the distance. Jake, we've all
Yeah.
been in that dinner party or whatever, where you can tell the host or the couple that's there they've been fighting. You can just tell, you can feel it. It's palpable in
Feel
the
it.
air.
Feel it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be near them. So you want to do is be a wolf, which is another acronym we use, which is wise, open, loving, and fierce, which is what you're going towards.
Yeah, yeah, you bet. And like being with the team for so long, it's one of the things we talk about a lot behind the scenes, but all the way from you guys at you and Tim, all the way to us on in different departments. We always talk about live it out. We do. We live out the principles. We're using the alpha rise and shine. We're doing our decompression. We're using the hidden motives technique. That was, I mean, the big thing for me to get my wife out of this place that she was in, really frustrated, was for me to use the hidden motives technique. Right. And I
Yeah.
love it. It's powerful. Guess what? My wife knows about the hidden motives technique. Your wife knows about it too. But that doesn't mean it's not powerful. The reason that it works is because at a base level, we're all just human beings. It's not complicated, right? It's not difficult. This isn't rocket science. Really, what people, humans in general, especially women and my wife, wants to feel is like she's seen and heard and understood. So if I fall into deer mode and she's getting frustrated about the house not being clean, and I say, "Babe, I just got back from volleyball. Can you just chill out? I just need a shower and real quick, just fine. I'll clean the damn toilets." Guess what? That's not what she wants to hear. It's never about the cleaning. It's never about. There's always a thing, and then there's the thing. You
Yep.
know, you say, your wife. You come home from work, and your wife's holding a bag of trash. She says, "Doug, you never do the things you say you're going to do. Get this filthy trash out of here now." And if you want to go and attack the trash and think that's a real problem, well, you're a sorry sucker, because that's not what it's about. You really want to connect with your wife, find out what's going on deeper than that. And that's what the hidden motives technique is all about. Getting below the surface and making your wife, making your partner, your kids feel like they're seen and they're heard and they're understood. Man, if you can do that, it's a superpower. It really is. It's like cheat codes.
It is, man. And this is why we here in the activation method, which is our flagship program guys go through. Guys can turn their marriage around in a matter of weeks, right? Literally 2 weeks,
Yes.
completely
Yes.
180 it. And it's because of these techniques that you learn. They're tools. We just weren't taught them, right?
Yeah.
As guys, I
Yeah.
was never taught
No.
it. And when you learn it, you're like, wow, this is magic.
Yeah.
In fact, Jake, I was talking to one of our guys who you would know. And anyway, I won't give his name out. And we were talking about a business situation because the men we work with are businessmen. And he had two employees that were going at each other, basically, right?
Mhm.
As guys tend to do. And what he ended up doing was using the hidden motives technique with these two guys individually to bring them back together, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a relationship technique, really. And
Yeah.
as
Yes.
men, we can use that with our wives, especially during the holidays, or with our in laws, or with our extended family, because people get
Yeah.
so stressed during this time. And that's how you become the lighthouse, guiding everybody around you and truly step into the leader role.
Yeah, yeah, you bet. And I mean, I'm kind of happy to share. I can share kind of how I use the hidden motives technique with Britt the other night, if
Yeah.
it's appropriate. Happy to share it. I mean, we talk about the principles, and you've heard this stuff before. Yep, I've read the 5 love languages. I know how to do all this, stuff. But it's really a thing of where there's more to it, and you've got to practice this stuff. Like when I first
Mhm.
started using HMT, it's like I wasn't doing it well, but I was doing it. The more and more you try and practice and get feedback on it, right, you'll get better. It's just like it's a muscle, just like anything else. But for me, and I do this a lot when my wife is feeling really, really frustrated, stressed out, like I see it as an opportunity to connect with my wife. I don't see it as an opportunity to go and hide and walk on eggshells in truth. I know that this is going to be an opportunity for me to either really mess things up or really connect with my wife on a deep level and show her that I'm her lighthouse, and then I can make her feel seen and heard and understood. And so, what I did the other night, just a couple of nights ago, she was frustrated. I heard her getting, she's great with our kids, so patient all the time. So when I hear her raise her voice even a little bit, I can tell that she's bothered. And I heard her doing that with our 4-year-old a little bit throughout the day, and so I knew I needed to kind of step in. And so it was after volleyball that night, Tuesday night or Monday night, sorry. And just kind of say, I just kind of like sat down on the couch a little bit, on the arm of the couch. I always try to get my body in a position where it's not like head to head. It's really combative if you do that. So I'm just kind of leaning out, inviting her to kind of come my way, it's a little body language stuff. And I was sitting on the edge of the couch and kind of brought the subject up. Hey, babe, I kind of feel like you're frustrated a little bit. Everything okay? And she said, no, I'm not frustrated. It's not about that. I just want to have the house really clean. And, this was a great, idea for me to just clean the house and deep clean. I've been wanting to do it and all this. And, I'm seeing right through that. Like, my wife is frustrated, and even she's going to the surface level thing. And I'm like, babe, that's not it. In my mind, I just know my wife, and it goes deeper than that. So we just worked through that, and I asked her some questions, and I said, babe, I get it. I know how frustrating it is for you when you've got a lot of this, and babe, I appreciate how much you've like been putting into this, and I love how like the house felt when I came in, and you've got everything set up for Christmas. Like, I appreciate that about you so much and the hard work you've put in. And finally, she came around, and it didn't take long. It doesn't take long. Within minutes, she just started to shift, and she was like, yeah, you know what? She kind of let her shoulders drop, and she's like, yeah, I am frustrated. And it's just been so much, and the kids and everything, and I've been doing all this, and that's what she needed to hear. I knew what it was underneath the surface. And so I went and took a shower. This is so cool. Like, this is why I love the hidden motives technique and why it's so powerful. Is I went and took a shower. I came back out, and now all of a sudden, instead of kind of like storming around the house, really frustrated, you could feel that tension. She was laying on her bed, and she was playful, and we were flirty with each other, and she was light and airy. And it was just like, just a switch. As easy as I could have turned on a light switch in the bedroom, she was just different. And what a gift that is, for her and for me and for the kids too, everybody around us. And we get to carry that memory with us for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, instead of what could have been, a blow up fight. Really could have. There's a thin line there. So that was me going through the hidden motives technique with my wife the other night. Super cool, super fun.
I love it, man. What guys don't realize, I think, Jake, is, kind of our tagline is how to save your marriage without talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And guys, you don't have to sit down and have the talk. The hidden motives technique allows you the ability just to switch that feminine energy, because feminine energy can switch on a dime, right? It's very flowy, and when it's guided correctly, and it allows you to completely change the relationship in the conversation with your wife, even without her knowing about it, even without her wanting to be involved in it. Like, your wife didn't
Yeah.
ask you to sit down and talk. You just took the lead, used the hidden motives technique, and completely shifted her energy, which
Yeah.
obviously changed her, which makes you feel good, but it also you changes you too. The whole outcome
Yeah.
for the evening is night and day of what it could have been.
Yeah, you bet. And I know, some people listen to this stuff. I wonder sometimes if people think this is mind control or manipulation, some sort of like a negative connotation with it. And you may think that we can call it manipulation if we want to, but at the end of the day, like, would my wife rather I just have a blow up fight with her, or just be a schmuck stuck in the mud, and not have this to be able to like shift her in that way, make her feel good at a
Yeah.
deep level? This is a deep level that she shifted. I'm betting my wife and every wife, across the world would rather we do that with good intention. Right? It really is. This is not, hey, I'm going to do this so we can have sex. I'm not, it's not so we can open up the bagel factory, as we say. It's not that at all. You've got to have good intentions. Like, if this is phony, if it's fraudulent, guess what? She's going to sniff that out. You've got to care about the people in your life. If you're using the hidden motives technique, which is so powerful, you've got to really care about who they are, not what you want, but what it is that they're feeling. Right. And that's all it takes, Doug. It's not that hard. It's just, you got to have that feeling behind it, or else women, they're human, congruency detecting machines. They'll feel that. They're way more in tune with their emotion than we are as just knuckle dragging cavemen guys.
Well, it's no more manipulative than saying thank you to show gratitude,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
You so thank you to get gratitude because you want that person to feel that you're grateful for whatever they did, right? That's why we say, hey,
Right.
Jake, thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
That's no more manipulative than me using the hidden motives technique. And guys, I would imagine if you're listening to this right now, you could be thinking, well, great, that's good for Jake or good for Doug. However, it won't work with my wife because our relationship's so far gone. And the case, guys, is, first of all, I understand that, how it could feel that way. And I would really encourage you to go to the results page at The Powerful Man, where you can see literally
Definitely.
hundreds of men who have used that particular technique, as well as the other parts of the triadic connection we teach, that have gotten results just like you're looking for. Because all of us can do that. It's a skill. And you and I were talking before we hit record about something, and I was telling you, like, look, I'm not a handyman. Like, I just didn't grow up learning those kinds of things. I was never taught the skills on how to refinish a house or remodel a bathroom, where some of my friends were. They grew up
Yeah.
with fathers and people in their lives that taught them these skills. They went into construction and they're amazing at it. I was just never taught the skill. right?
Yeah.
Just as most men listening to this, you were never taught the skill of how to be successful in a marriage, especially as a businessman, because it's
Yeah.
much harder. And once you have those tools and techniques, you start to realize, oh, this isn't that difficult either. You just
Yeah.
need guidance.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
activation method, when you go through that program, when guys go through it, the way I'm thinking about this, it's almost like having a master carpenter next to you teaching you exactly what you need to do if you need to frame a wall.
Yeah.
Like they know the little nuances of how to do it faster, how to do it cleaner, how to make it look better if you're or working on drywall or whatever it is that you're not going to learn from an audiobook or a podcast like this or a YouTube course. It's just
Yeah.
not going to be as good. And if you have that master carpenter next to you, that coach, that allows you to hit success much faster.
Yeah, yeah, you bet, Doug. And a couple things I'll throw in on this is this is so huge. This is a universal principle. This is not something that I made up. It's not something we teach, or it just is a thing. I mean, ego is a big thing that gets in the way of just having a big ego and realizing like, hey, I'm perfect. I don't need any coaching. I don't need a master carpenter or any of that. I mean, ego is the fastest way to slam the door on your growth. Anybody listening to this is probably somebody that's interested in growing and getting better. And so I bet that your egos aren't get in the way of this, but at times it can come into play. So if you're just able to kind of shelf the ego, come in and just learn a little bit from some guys that have taken, just thousands of people through this, honestly, getting results. Like we have on our clients results page. I mean, it's just undeniable how many people make that shift really quickly. One of the clients testimonials that's in there, I just remember, and it's a guy that I know from the program. Is this is a really cool story? When you were saying earlier, like, well, I don't know if it would work for me because we're in such a bad situation. I'd counter that by just saying, look, if you've been out of the gym for a while, right? Maybe you're like 40, 50 pounds overweight and you start doing that, like, look how quickly you lose weight and then how quickly you feel. And then how quickly people around you notice, like, wow, you've changed a little bit. We hear that a lot. Like, wow, what's going on? You get a new pair of clothes, like you got a haircut or something, you're different. Hear that a lot. One specific example was of a dad that was coaching his baseball team, his kid's baseball team, and was really reactive, very deer mode, very reactive a lot of the times, and even with the kids on the field. Hey, and no, nothing against the guy that was doing that. Maybe that was the way that he was taught. Maybe that was the way that he was brought up, and he thought maybe that was the best way. But as soon as he stopped being so reactive on the baseball diamond with those kids, his wife noticed. We saw screenshots, that he sent us. I can't believe the way you were handling the boys today on the field. That was so sexy the way you were handling them. Like, come on, like those are where he's maybe in a really bad place before, but it's just an immediate shift. She'll notice. And then you'll feel it. And once you feel good, you can give her the things that she needs. She'll give you more of the things that you need. And instead of now this downward spiral that so many guys that I talk to are inside of, you create a positive feedback loop. It goes up and up and up. And man, it's just magic. That's where the magic really is.
I agree. And guys, look, we're not trying to push the activation method program on you. We have a free Facebook group. We do over 600 episodes of this podcast. We're on every social media channel giving out free info to help you guys. We just know it works, right? So for those looking to do so, but when you look around the holidays, which are coming up and we started this conversation, is what mode are you going to be in? Are you going to be reacting, snapping, short and deciding, you know what, screw this. I'm just going to pour another drink and I'm just going to go watch football or whatever else it is, finish the World Cup and have a couple cocktails and, wait till the holidays are over and then I'll be able to do something. Thus missing another opportunity to connect with your wife, to connect with your kids and your loved ones. We just don't want you to miss that, guys. One is, I don't know about you, Jake. I've been there. I've been in that situation where the holidays start coming around and my wife and I are not doing well. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to friggin' be here,
Yeah.
And what I'll do, but you have to physically be there, right, guys? So what do? We check out mentally. And you check out mentally in a lot of ways. You watch sports, have a couple extra beers, or pour yourself a cocktail or whatever else it may be, or go hang out with other family members to avoid wherever your partner is or whoever else is going on. And that just bubbles up inside of you.
Yeah.
And it comes out in the worst ways, right? It never comes out in a healthy way unless you address it, full force.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's okay, I know a lot of times on the podcast, we're really encouraging, we want to lift people up, but if it's okay, I'm going to get real with everybody listening to this right now. There's a thing called divorce day, and it is a very real phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon. It's a statistic. It's the first Monday it's the first Monday in January after the holidays. The reason that, and what happens on that day is the number one day where divorces are filed. Right. And so what you get to be wary of is also what's also true is 7 out of 10 divorces are filed by women. I mean, we've got podcasts on Divorce Day. You can listen to more about this. And go ahead, Doug. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I've just read a new study that was out, Jake, that it's was it the American Society of Sociology or something. Anyway, I can look at it. If your wife has a college degree or higher, college education or higher, it's no longer 7 out of 10. It's 9 out of 10
No
divorces.
way. Gosh.
90% likelihood that is the woman that files for divorce if she has a college or greater degree. Anyway, I read that a couple weeks ago because I was working on a piece to help some of the guys out, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, that's so heavy, Doug. And it is, and the reason. And sorry, I'm getting a little bit more serious about this, guys, is because like we're going to go through these holidays. All of us are. Some people that are out there listening, your wife right now is thinking about divorce. She's thinking about walking into an attorney's office on December, or January 5th or 6th to turn in the papers. Like that's going to happen
January 2nd this year.
Several, yeah, okay, for several of us. And so, look, you got to understand, like the good thing in all of this is like women make and unmake decisions all the time, right? Show up in the next 30 days. Maybe she changed her mind. Maybe she can unpack her bags. Maybe you're just planting the seeds of doubt in her mind that like leaving you is a good idea if that's what's on her mind right now. And it doesn't start with her. It's not a decision that she's on a path. If this is true for you and your family and you can feel it coming, it's not anything that she's going to do to change her mind. It's going to be how you show up for her, for the kids, for yourself. That's going to make her change her mind. And you guys keep your relationship for the next Christmas and the next one and the next one after that. Wish that for everybody out there that's listening.
Yeah, I do too, man. I get emotional when I talk to people about it. In fact, I had a good buddy of mine, Jake, who I was talking to 2 days ago, a guy I grew up with. And, he's just calling to check in. Hey, how you doing? Just shooting the shit. And, you know me, I was just like, hey, man, how's your marriage going? And he goes, I'll shoot you a text. And he wanted to shoot me a text because he didn't want to talk about it where he was. Yeah. And we're close enough that he would open up to me. And I was like, look, man, this is, I know the stats here. We talk to guys all the time. And, when a woman is deciding upon divorce, she's made that decision a while ago, right? She's just waiting for the holidays to go through. She doesn't want to disrupt the kids or anything else. She's already made that exit, guys. And as men, you and I hear it so much, Jake, which breaks our hearts, is guys wait till it's too late. They wait till it's too late to take action. They say they're going to change. They say they're going to do this. They say they're going to do that. But their wife just hasn't seen them actually go all in. And guys, she's going to test you. And you don't have to do the Powerful Man's program. You don't have to do the activation method. Let's say you go to another something, right? She is going to test you and push back. She's going to try to stop you from doing it to see if you're really serious. She doesn't really want to stop you. She's really just testing to see, are you really serious at this time? Or is this just you, run your mouth? And as guys, we do that, right? We make these promises with the best of intentions. Sure. And then life gets in the way. And as business owners, man, you have all kinds of things, employee issues. Like I was talking about this other guy, stressors are coming up and you think, okay, I'll just do this next week. And next week doesn't come and it gets too late. And guys, we literally hear this story from men all the time. And we just don't want you to do it. So whether you join the activation method, whether you do another program, whether you go into the Facebook group and see Jake's amazing training, just do something and do something immediately, guys.
You bet.
Jake, that's awesome, man. I love having you on here. You always have so much wisdom to bring. Thank you so much for what you do, for the men that you talk to, for the value you provide in the free Facebook group. Just absolutely awesome. And guys, look, if you just have a question like, hey, is this right for me? Right? Jake is one of the guys you get to talk to. You jump on a phone call with him. Jake's, as you could tell, easy to speak with. And he's just going to let you know in your particular situation whether it's worthwhile, whether it's worth investing your time, your money, and everything else into a program like the activation method, or whether you should be doing something else. Jake's extremely versed. He's been through the program. He's a businessman, married with kids, just like you guys. So hop on a quick call with him and just find out if this is the right fit for you. And to do that, all you have to do is go over to thepowerfulman.com. There's a get started button. There's a short application, right? There's just a few qualifiers. We don't work with everybody. We're looking for a very specific type of guy that we choose to work with because we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, we can get results for that guy. And then you can get onto Jake's calendar and have a phone call with him. There's no obligation, just a quick call. So Jake, thanks again, man, for everything that you do.
You bet. Thanks, Doug.
All right, guys, that's a wrap for this episode. But as I always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action. You see, there are two types of men that listen to a podcast like this. Those that go on from one podcast or show to another, just hoping things are going to change and realizing that they're going to be in the same place month after month, year after year. You see, I was this guy, so I completely get it. You may just not be ready. But there's also a second man that listens to a show just like this. And this is a guy who takes massive action so they can shorten the learning curve, compress time, and get results to be the wolf. See, wolf is an acronym for wise, open, loving, and fierce. Now, ask yourself, which one am I? And just be honest with yourself there. And there's no judgment on my end, but if you're ready to move from deactivated deer mode, which is defend, excuse, explain, react, to activated wolf, wise, open, loving, and fierce, then go over to thepowerfulman.com/grow and go there now. In fact, I'll make it super easy for you. I will even put the link right in the description here so you can just click it and go over there now to learn more. Guys, in the moment of insight, take massive action. Go from deactivated to activated because like I said, life is too short for average. And I'll see you on the next episode.